A protest in New York City almost turned into a bombing. A Hollywood star is getting dragged online for something he said in an interview. Washington is fighting over the voting laws that could change how millions of Americans register. And artificial intelligence might be coming for white-collar jobs faster than anyone expected. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Welcome to AM Mornings. If you're new here, I'm Alex Media. You might know me from Flagrant, Brilliant Idiots, WTF Media Studios. This is not a recap show for recycled headlines. This is a live call-in show about opinions and nuance. If you call in, you must show your face and say it with your chest. There's no burners, no avatars, no anonymous courage. Today, I've got Miles McCreary filling in. If you watch Flagrant, you've definitely seen Miles behind the scenes. Producer, strategist, one of the smartest people working on the show. Miles is also one of the most thoughtful people I work with. He might lean a little left in most cases. So today, I'm really going to test the nuance in these topics. I'm going to try to argue the other side of things. Let's see how that goes. Miles, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is awesome.
How do you like my news anchor voice?
Dude, I love it. I love it. You sound like Walter Cronkite.
Oh, far from it. If you actually want to be part of the conversation, Patreon is how you do that. $3 gets you in the room. That's how you call in. That's how we're able to keep this show independent. Full episodes go up a day later on Spotify and YouTube, but Patreon gets you all the extra stuff. There's vlogs, there's extra episodes, PM nights, behind the scenes content. If you were watching, you were able to see us scrambling, getting this show together before going live right now. And today, as you know, we always ask every caller a dilemma question. Tonight's dilemma question is, would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important and be remembered as a hero? Every caller tonight has to answer that before they go, so think about it. And all right, let's actually just start with Miles. Miles, would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing and be remembered as a hero?
Dude, that's a tough one. That's Shutter Island. Dude, I mean, obviously you want to save humanity, and I guess if you die a villain, like, who cares? You're dead. So I'm gonna go the noble one. But
do you believe in the afterlife?
No.
Oh, okay. So that's an easy pick.
Yeah, like, who cares?
Okay.
Yeah, it's like you ain't gonna check back in.
If you're looking back down, you're like, oh fuck, everybody thinks I'm this shitty.
That's for my family to deal with. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to lean same way. I would definitely save humanity, be remembered as a villain. Hopefully, enough time goes by, maybe things will change. But if it doesn't, it's all good. Yeah. Let's talk about what you care about this week before we get into the topics.
I mean, the Oscars, obviously. Like, I think that's tonight.
Do you actually care about the Oscars?
Yeah, I do.
Even though I think it's a popularity contest, I think they just give it to the people that they want in the room to be there to keep the hype up. I don't know necessarily if it's merit-based.
No, it's not. But I do care about movies, and I do think that a lot of times there are good movies. Like, most Oscar winners are pretty good. There's, like, few and far between that are, like, huge flops or, like,
that is
snubs.
True.
And, like, but all movies deserve awards. I think all movies are great, and, like, making anything of that level deserves something. But the Oscars are interesting. I did a really bad job this year at watching any of the movies, so like I'm sort of going in blind, which will be nice to pick after which ones to watch.
Okay.
And then also this, like, silly dime thing. I don't know if it's actually real, but like,
yeah, you sent me that. I was like, oh, this is some Miles shit. Tell them about the dime.
They're gonna, like, redesign the dime for the 250th anniversary of America, and there's, like, some controversy about it that the back of the dime will have an eagle on it, and that eagle will not have an olive branch in it, but will have the arrows.
Okay, and why is that a thing? So
the eagle carries an olive branch and arrows to basically say it wants peace first, but always ready.
Oh.
And by not having the olive branch, it's, like, always ready. And also, whichever direction the eagle's head is pointing, I think is supposed to be a representation if we're in war or not, if I'm not mistaken. Like, on the presidential seal and, like, the seal of Congress, where the eagle's head is pointing, if it's towards one or the other, I think is, like, a declaration of war.
No fucking way.
So it's, like, a little...
And so is it pointed in the way of war right now?
Yeah, I think so.
Man,
and no more olive branch. Now, mind you, this all might be fake news. I very didn't look into it a ton, but I was like a bit of a coin nerd as a child. Like I was collecting the coins.
How did you get into that?
Remember the 50
was
state
your
coins?
dad into it?
Well, remember the 50 state coins?
Yeah.
Those came out when I was a kid, and you get that big book, and then you'd put the 50.
Try to find it. Yeah,
those were
okay,
awesome.
okay.
Big fan of that. And that just gets you into it. And then because my dad was just sort of like a participating father, like if I was like, oh, I'm into the quarters, he would come home. He would at work trade in a bunch of his money for all quarters and then bring them home and lay them out on the table. And then we'd go them through.
See, that makes a lot of sense.
And then you get into it more and you find out that there's like wheat pennies and pennies made of copper and quarters that were made of silver. And you're always trying to find like the right year and misprints. And it was always fun.
Did you ever try to find, I heard there's like pennies that are worth like
the misprint pennies are like the big expensive ones. And then there was like a misprint quarter out of Iowa that was like missing or had an extra like corn leaf on the corn stalk. I got into it. And then, I mean, even farther, me and my buddies would...
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at that shit.
No, it's dorky. I had a friend who lived near train tracks, and then we would put quarters and pennies on the train tracks and then get big flat pennies.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope.
That's fun
like
too.
when you go into some of those buildings and you put the coin through the thing and you...
Yeah, but that's like thin and little.
Yeah.
You could get a $50.
Get the fuck out of here.
Huge, yeah.
Oh, shit, that's fire.
What do you care about this week?
So this Manosphere doc came out on Netflix. I watched that, I think yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it confirms a lot of what I already feel about these guys. Like, I think they're unhappy guys that live a character in order to just, sell some bullshit and, make money off of it. It's unfortunate. I actually walked away feeling bad for them. And I did not expect that.
I would even push back that sometimes it's not even that people are unhappy. It's just that they see there's money to be made. Like, I don't think it always comes from like this like moral code of like, I'm unhappy, I'll make content that will make me feel something.
Yeah.
I think some of these people are just like savvy and they see that like the world is headed in a direction and they go, I can make some money going that direction.
I get that, but imagine like every day you live with like people just shitting on you, people like coming at you, not agreeing with the way you live your life, and then you don't even believe in the way you live your life.
Yeah, but
like,
you got the checks coming in. Some people have propensity to like handle that kind of stuff.
Shit.
Yeah.
Shit. Because
I don't.
It was one thing that was really, it was funny. It's like you'll see a version of them, and then with one of these guys, some guy out in London, I believe, HS or something like that. You see him with his mom, and he's completely different. He's like a little bitch in front of his mom, but then when his mom's not around, I'm this chauvinistic guy or whatever. So it's just interesting. Anybody at home, if you don't understand the Manosphere or Red Pill or all that bullshit, I recommend you watch it. You'll definitely learn a lot. But
I'll check it out. I will check.
Prayers for, actually, no prayers for these guys. All right, so let's get right into it. So let's start with something a little serious. There was a protest in New York City that just turned into a bombing attempt. Not a threat, not a scare, an actual bomb. And if the device had detonated properly, we might be talking about dead civilians outside the mayor's residence right now. Now let's see if this works. Tommy, can you roll A1?
One of Lane's followers sprayed mace at a group of counter-protesters, fistfights broke out, and then 2 smoking objects were thrown into the crowd. You had 18-year-old Amir Balak and 19-year-old Ibrahim Nik, who's also been named in reports as Ibrahim Kayumi, charged for the attack as well.
They were improvised explosive devices that could have caused serious injury or death. I can confirm this morning that this is being investigated as an act of ISIS-inspired terrorism.
Now that the story is already blowing up online because everyone is interpreting it differently, here's what actually happened. There was an anti-Muslim protest outside of the home of New York's Muslim mayor, Mamdani. The protest was organized by Jake Lang. If you don't know the name, Jake is a far-right activist who has built a following around aggressive rhetoric against Muslims and immigration. Tommy, can we roll A2, please?
There are 53 Muslim majority countries, and in all of them, it is tyranny, destruction, it is shithole living. We have to call it what it is. You guys don't live like we do. We don't want you in our country. We will come and eat your shawarma in Somalia. We don't want you here. Respectfully, get the fuck out of my country.
You can take it off top. Yeah, I don't want guys like that here. But critics say his Protests often frame Muslims as a threat to American society. Supporters say he's exposing what they believe is extremism and defending Western values. Either way, tensions were already high before anything happened. Counter-protesters showed up, police were there, and then things escalated. According to investigators, 2 men attempted to bomb the protest. Authorities say the explosive materials involved TATP. That's a highly volatile explosive compound used in multiple terrorist attacks around the world. People say if those devices had detonated properly, people could have been seriously injured or killed. 2 suspects were arrested, both of them Muslim men, which immediately turned this into a political firestorm because now everyone is interpreting the story through their own worldview. One side is saying, this proves exactly why people were protesting in the first place. They argue that extremist ideology exists and sometimes it turns violent. The other side says, hold on, we can't ignore the context. While political rhetoric constantly demonizes entire groups of people, eventually the situation becomes combustible, and sometimes violence follows. And there's the third argument people online are making. Some are asking whether this incident will reinforce anti-Muslim narratives regardless of the truth. You have an anti-Muslim protest, then 2 Muslims attempt a bombing. The combination almost perfectly confirms the fears and protests were already expressing. So the question becomes, did the attackers just hand anti-Muslim activists the exact narrative they wanted? Or is this simply what happens when political hostility escalates to the point where violence becomes possible? Because regardless of who's right, one thing is true. If the bomb had actually gone off, the entire conversation tonight would be about who died. Before we open the phone lines, Miles, let me make this simple. 2 Muslim men tried to bomb a protest. Is that terrorism? Or do you think that the political climate created this condition for something like this to happen?
I mean, any bombing is terrorism, like especially if you're like attempting to cause terror and hurt a bunch of people. But I won't say like I think it's like a misnomer to be like it's Muslim terrorism. Like they were like ISIS inspired kids, right?
Yes.
From Pennsylvania. They are Muslim, but like I don't think Timothy McVeigh was a Christian terrorist. He's a Christian dude.
Okay, good
He
point.
was like part of like a sort of like far sect of Christianity, but like we don't look at that as the Oklahoma bombing doesn't get called the Oklahoma Christian bombing.
That's a good point. That some would say that was a long time ago, and part of, let's say, terrorist strategy has been using like suicide bombs and things of that nature. So like this is more to the modern day version of terrorism.
Yeah, it's a bombing, and like I don't want to in any way say it's not terrorism. I just do think that like there's a bit of this like anti-Muslim protest turns into another protest where there's people attempting to protest against that. So it's 2 groups protesting outside of Gracie Mansion, and then 2 kids two kids see the opportunity to bomb it and like create chaos and terrorism. Like they're not a part of either of those 2 groups. They're a third party of like 2 mentally, like I don't want to do this thing where it's like they're mentally ill, but like it's impossible not to be mentally ill and want to hurt large groups of people. And like being, I don't know, I have my like silly leftist opinions, but like
say it with your chest. Come on, it's all good. There's nothing.
I don't know,
no
man.
wrong
I
opinion
like
here.
they're bad people. They're awful. They should go to jail forever. Like fuck them. But also like don't do like I was listening to like some podcast that was explaining this, and they go, New York City mayor, Muslim mayor Mamdani. I was like, we don't have to like call him out. We didn't call Eric Adams like a Christian mayor.
But I mean, the fact that this protest was happening in front of his house, like Jake Lane intentionally did that. That was
fair. I just think they're different than like the American standard or like what most people are used to. So you have to start using identifiers where it's like people will say that with like black people, where it's like because they're not the majority of America, you'll hear people be like, so-and-so blank activist, black, African-American, like whatever. Like you have to do these attachments because they are not the like standard. And then the standard gets to be absolved of many of these types of like attachments because it's the norm, quote unquote.
Got you. Have you heard the angle about the false flag?
I mean, there's always going to be that forever and always. We are living in like a post-truth society where since the Gulf of Tonkin or like whatever point in society you want to use where like something went wrong and then there was a cover-up or like the theory or thought of cover-up, we are always forever, I think, moving forward, going to have conspiracy theorists or a conspiracy attached immediately to any newsworthy moment.
Got it.
Personally.
And so the people who do maybe have like biased views of Muslim people, do you feel this confirms their bias?
Yeah, this is it's not helpful at all.
Yeah.
And like I think that if you already don't if you already have opinions similar to that guy who's like saying get out of our country, like this is just scoreboard for them. They're like, great, another bad problem. And maybe, I don't know.
Should activists like Jake Lang be held responsible?
No, I don't think you can like hold him responsible, but like you can call out like
even for having a protest that's surrounded around hate.
It's your right in this country to be able to do that, and that is one of those things that I have to defend. Where it's like, you can do that. You can say awful stuff in this country, and like not. You will have to deal with consequences in like your private, but like the government can't do anything to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like that's their right. So.
Oof, that sucks. Imagine having to defend the right for people to be hateful. And
I really sat on that fence. Yeah. So I'm just going to let everyone know that's sort of where I live.
Yeah, it's all good. So we're going to see if this works. Let's start bringing in some callers. Do we have anybody ready to go? Hey, this is a familiar face. This is one of my best friends, Arson. I love Arson. This is my friend from freshman year in university. And he comes with the best conspiracies. I wonder if you have one around this topic.
No, not really. And then even before like the main topic, kind of what you guys addressed about as far as like free speech, I forget. It might have been like some podcast I was probably listening to, but I think they made a really good point about, and I think it was more when it was like the left trying to like censor hate speech and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, not unfortunately, I think it's really interesting to think of free speech in a way of like the reason the First Amendment exists is for speech you don't agree with.
Yeah.
It's not for speech you agree with. Because if it's already speech you agree with, you don't need an amendment to protect it.
Yeah.
It's just crosses the line where it incites violence, which, I think it has to directly incite violence to where you have to, limit it or arrest people or whatever.
But where is that line between free speech protests and the dangerous escalation? Because if you're promoting a hateful speech that like gets people so upset that violence does happen, is it the protest and the speech that led to the violence?
Well, obviously not that, because that was already going down, right? And they already had the plan to be there. But I think that's just a responsibility of everybody in the country to try to calm the tension down, which we're not getting from all of our political leaders. There's like just a handful of people who are trying to like cool the temperature down. But in general, the problem is and then that's like a trickle down. That's like a trickle down hatred. That's one thing we know works. Doesn't work in the economy, but seems to work. Because literally, like you get the whole country fired up about all these issues, and unfortunately for the politicians, that means more voter turnout. That means more contribution. So like they don't have an incentive to cool the temperature down. The more it's just like mainstream news. Why they report on all these things and they try to polarize people because that's what gets attention.
So do you think media coverage like makes incidents like this worse?
Yeah, I think in general, but I think it's like hard to point your finger at any like one thing. I think as far as like free speech goes, you have to like refer specifically to like, hey, go out and kill this person. Like, okay, that is clearly inciting violence against somebody. But I think the same way, I forget the year, but when the Jewish organization protested, they didn't protest, but they made sure that the Nazis were able to, I think it was the Nazis to hold, either KKK or Nazis, to hold their protests. And like the Jewish organization advocated like, no, they need to do this because if you limit their speech, then that goes down to limiting everybody else's speech. And it's also like, hey, get these people on record, see what they're doing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Okay. And no crazy conspiracies this week?
I mean, you know, I
It
generally
doesn't have to be
conspiracy.
around this. I'm just curious before you go, because I want to, you always got me. You always got something.
I mean, the main thing that, you know, this past week, and it kind of relates to the terrorist thing, is just like just the worry of genuine conspiracy, genuine sleeper cells, and then genuine potential false flags, like the stuff there. You know, I'm out here in San Diego. We have a lot of military bases here. So yeah, so there was like, you know, they said this thing of like there's a memo put out in California for a potential drone attack from Iran.
Oh yeah, are you worried being out there in Cali about the potential?
I mean, I think
attacks?
everybody should be a little bit more worried right now, just with the whole thing. It's like I feel like the Israel Gaza thing was kind of like set the kindling for everything, and then now U.S. actively being involved in Iran, because now you have to worry of just crazy people and who are like self-radicalized, which is what happened in New York, and carrying out stuff just because of everything that's going on. And then there's just a genuine threat of like, you know, the president says we know of these sleeper cells.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, well, go get them, right? Stop like going after people at Home Depot. Why don't you take your masked agents and raid all these sleeper cells, because they're probably not here legally, right? So like, why don't we get those people out of here,
Okay.
and arrest them and whatever. But and then there's like the threat of a false flag, which everybody kind of flagged because, you know, there's like some drones that were stolen from a military base. Right around the same time, they said that there's going to be drone attacks in California. So as far as like, everybody's like, okay, like if something happens, like, is this actually Iran calling the shots? Is this like our own government? Is this a foreign government that's like doing something to get support for this war? Which I think in this instance would radically reduce any support for intervention, because typically you have to like do the terrorist thing first to get the support, and then you go invade a country.
Yeah.
But if you're like actively causing tensions, people would just see that like, hey, this happened because you guys started bombing Iran. So that's kind of my take as far, you know, the conspiracy part.
Arson, before you go, the dilemma question: would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important and be remembered as a hero?
I think you probably have to go with the villain part, like save humanity, be remembered as a villain. You know, because I think like Batman has some of those vibes, right? There's like some people who think he's like a vigilante, and you know, he's kind of like bad or whatever, but he knows he's doing the right thing. Because you know, that whole imposter syndrome. I think that'd be like real heavy if you're like remembered as a hero and you know you didn't do shit. Like I think that would mess with your head more than knowing you did the right thing, you know, internally.
Yeah.
And everybody else just sees you as like somebody else, you know. Plus, like I feel like once you're gone, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you're remembered as a villain,
I like that. It is. Arson, thank you for calling. I see you every week. You better call back. Right. Peace out. Who do we got next?
Later,
Bring him right up.
Oh, I see David's face.
Guy.
Oh,
this guy.
Duncan Egg got a shaved head. I love it, brother.
First time, long time. What's up, boys?
Dave,
how
what's
are
up,
we?
brother?
Saw, dude.
Nothing much. Chilling. All right, I want to talk about the Manosphere doc real quick.
Yeah, run.
It's not your show.
Because what you talking? Well, you bring a guest on and you're like, yo, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm a star.
All right, so let's talk about your people.
Oh shit, I forgot. I need to put my hoodie up. I might get recognized.
Like you like
these are not my people.
I mean,
what are you talking about?
You're a fuckboy.
No. I love.
He had to think about that.
Yeah, you love Jake Lang. All right, what do you think about the Mamdani bombing, David?
Who gives a fuck, bro? It's like,
yo, you're on the mean streets of NYC right now. You could,
bro, that shit. But Gracie Mansion's in like the upper east, upper west, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even understand it. So what was the protest? And I wasn't listening to the show because I was watching the talk again.
It's all right. We'll re-explain it to you, dude.
But what was so the white dude that was talking, he was talking about what?
He's anti-Islam activist.
January 6th person also.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's right wing. He wants Muslims out of the country. Hey,
Yes, sir.
Yep.
what an example. I
Yeah.
mean, he probably this shit happened. He was probably just like this.
Did you like his
Exhibit
line?
A.
He says, you guys come from shithole countries. We will eat your shawarma, though. Like,
That's a bar.
Yeah.
That's fire.
You
It's
both
dumb.
laughed at that.
yeah, it was funny. I mean, it's funny. You have to call
so funny.
out. Do
That's
you
so
think?
funny. What else? Go on. Sorry.
No. Do you think that there's a line between free speech and dangerous escalation? As a person who says
Yeah.
controversial things.
Yeah. I don't say anything controversial, but yeah, I think there is a line. Obviously, like, isn't inciting violence not protected under free speech?
Yes, but here's an example. Let's say you're in a press group and you are speaking and you say, "Rise up, my people." Like, don't stand for the way you're being treated. Is that a call to escalation? Is that violence, or is that just
No,
telling?
that's because that's too ambiguous for it to be like a call for call to violence or a call to action.
You wouldn't believe it, but these people are very good at staying ambiguous.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, of
Very
course.
good. And then you have a January 6th that happens.
but also, those are the same
Stop.
Those are the same talking points of every revolution ever. Rise up, my people. Like anyone who's gained rights, anyone like I bet the like suffragettes of like the 20s, of women getting the right to vote, were using the same speech, like the same patterns of speech.
Yeah,
It's a tough one.
I think there's a line. I recently went to the Capitol for the first time, and I was almost impressed that these people were able to storm it. That was my takeaway. Those walls are tall. Those walls are tall.
That's hilarious.
Shit.
Oh, that's a good take. I
That's a
like
good
that.
take.
It's such a big building. Well, I'm trying to think of what else happened this week. I mean, BB's dead.
No, he's
Is he?
all right, David. Would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important and be remembered as hero? Or third option,
I
just
want
be
to be
you.
remembered. I'm naturally going to be remembered as a hero, but I'd rather do.
Say it one more time.
I'd rather do nothing and be remembered as a hero.
I knew it. You wouldn't believe it.
What are
I
you talking
knew
about?
it.
What are you talking about?
I'm not even surprised. Bro.
I need my grandkids to live under the guise that I was a good guy.
That's
Oh,
true.
man.
That's very true.
Also, in today's modern world, I'm gonna like
Yo,
if I
Tommy,
was like
take
if I
David,
did.
take David off. Next call.
You take me off. I'm gonna smack you tomorrow. All right? I'll
See
be
you later,
like,
Egg.
I'm sure you
Yeah,
will.
Goodbye, Egg. Go find Dunk.
Hey, Miles, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Love you. Bye.
Oh, that's awesome. That's David. Also, one of the guys on Flagrant. He has some growing up to do. You know,
Just all the comments are shitting on him.
Yeah.
I won't read them aloud,
Yeah,
but
all the comments do shit on David. Let's talk about the internet deciding it's someone's turn to get dragged. Timothée Chalamet is catching backlash right now over something he said in an interview with Matthew McConaughey. And depending on who you ask, he either insulted entire art community or people are just looking for something to be mad about. Tommy, roll B2, please.
I admire people, and I've done it myself, to go on a talk show and go, hey, we got to keep movie theaters alive. You know, we got to keep this genre alive. And another part of me feels like if people want to see it like Barbie, like Oppenheimer, they're going to go see it and go out of their way to be loud and proud about it. And I don't want to be working in ballet or opera or, you know, things where it's like, hey, keep this thing alive, even though no one cares about this anymore. All respect to the ballet and opera people out there. I just lost 14 cents in viewership. But, damn, I just took shots for no reason.
That's not a shot. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
So,
Yo, that part kills me. He is going through it right now. He knew that he just fucked up. He's like,
yeah, it's just a PR trained man going, oops, oops.
but like, trust me, I've had plenty of those moments
Yeah,
on the show.
of
And you're like,
course.
oh, I just said something that's going to get me in so much trouble.
Of course.
Luckily, we can edit, but you guys always tend to keep it in. I wonder who does, Miles.
No,
All right. So here's what he said. While talking about the future of movies and movie theaters, Timothée said he doesn't want to be working in things like ballet or opera, where it feels like people are constantly trying to keep the art form alive, even though audiences aren't showing up. That line is what set people off. Some people heard it as ballet and opera are dying and no one cares. Artists in those communities pushed back immediately. They argued those art forms are foundational and actors should actually respect and study them. But other people heard the clip completely differently. They heard him saying movies should survive because people actually want to go see them, not because people feel obligated to keep them alive. That's a very different interpretation. And now you've got a cultural debate. One side says the comment shows shows a lack of respect for classical arts. The other side says this is classical internet outrage culture. Someone says one sentence in an interview and suddenly the internet treats them like a declaration of war. Then there's another angle here that people in entertainment recognize immediately: the celebrity backlash cycle. Comedian Andrew Schultz joked about this recently. He said there's always the white boy of the month, meaning the internet picks one young white celebrity, celebrates him for a while, and then suddenly decides it's time to tear him down. And some people think that's exactly what's happening here. This isn't really about ballet or opera, it's just Timothy's turn. And that's the deeper question underneath all of this. What actually makes someone a serious actor? Some people believe actors should study classical art, like ballet, theater, and opera. Others believe great acting comes with instincts, experience, and screen work, not elite training. And then there's the blunt reality. Timothée Chalamet is a rich, famous movie star. So a lot of people are looking at this whole controversy saying, who gives a fuck? If you're rich and successful, maybe just deal with the criticism and move on. So before we take it to the phone lines, Miles.
Yep.
Let me ask you something. Is this real criticism, or is Timothy just the white boy of the month and this is his turn?
I mean, people that are within those communities that feel that he's being shit on have the right to criticize him, but I don't know if this is like, I mean, if this is real criticism and this is the biggest problem he's running into in like an 8-month-long PR stunt of pushing his movie, like, great job, dude. You survived. Mm-hmm. You didn't like fuck up. You didn't get too drunk at a bar and like fight someone. There's no like real controversy. If this is the biggest controversy of the run of Marty Supreme, I'm like, great, dude, you did it.
What happened to the big movie star and they don't need to do all this?
Well,
the Leos,
I mean,
you never see him.
But this is where I would push back against people and give Timmy credit for being like, Timmy, I love you. Come on, flagrant. No, this is where I'd push back and be like, yeah, we can see that movies are not what they were 20 to 40 years ago. Like,
okay,
ballet and opera had their heyday. I'm not saying they aren't still cool and good. Timmy comes from like Timmy comes from
come for you, bro.
They can. It's fine. What I would say is like dance and opera and all those things are incredibly important, but they are at a different point, and they're at a different like they're just at a different point in their history than they probably once were. There was probably a heyday for them at one point.
It's a truthful statement.
And ballet and opera also have been generally seen. I think if you polled like an average person, like, hey, do you go to the opera? You'd be like, no, I don't have $1 million. Like, movies are an accessible art form, and we're finding out or watching them actively right now change where like people are going to the movies less. Theaters are like dying. Theaters are closing. Like, he's seeing the writing on the wall and being like, hey, this is sort of a tough thing to watch. I wonder how ballet people felt, or I wonder how other dying arts have felt, or arts that are changing. I don't want to say dying, but arts that are...
the thing. Because you say dying art, and yes, you corrected yourself, but the ballet and the opera were always art forms that were for the upper class. Like, it wasn't the widely popular art form that everybody went to go see.
Surely, but I'm sure there was a time where people knew those people more. Like, it could get you into the Met Gala. It could get you into like a party if you were the best opera singer. What's the guy's name? Pavarotti or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Like, he used to probably be able to walk into any restaurant in New York and be like, I'd like to sit. And they'd be like, great, we're going to have you in.
That's a good
in the 80s and the 90s, whatever that time period was. And I'm not saying it's not that. I think Whitney Houston covered a Pavarotti song once, or like someone, Aretha maybe. And it was like a huge deal at the time.
Yeah.
And she had the pipes to do it, and it was a very impressive thing. But like, the landscape shifts all the time and shifts constantly. And movies are in a shifting point where he basically is saying like, yeah, I would like it to continue.
Yeah. So is this bullshit outrage, or does he deserve the criticism?
No, he deserves some criticism. It is sort of bullshit outrage. Like, he comes from a dance family. He like sort of walked it back immediately. It's not like he like stood there 10 toes down and was like, no. He walked it back immediately. He comes from a family. His mother was like a classically trained dancer, was on Broadway. He grew up like doing dance classes.
He walked it back. He walked it back because he realized he fucked up. Because the first thought...
What else do you do in that situation?
First thought to his mind is, oh, I just fucked my money up.
as a
That's the
joke. That's like a
first
way
thing he
to
says.
no. That's a way of like
he didn't say, "Oh shit, I just insulted a community of people." He said, "Oh man, I just
sure.
lost."
We all wish we had better words in the moment. Like you're live on a panel. Yes, he made a mistake, but I do think that we're like sort of attacking someone when there's like much bigger issues out there in the world for even actors. Like even for actors, there's bigger issues. Even for the Oscars, there's bigger issues.
Yeah, there's always a bigger issue, but it's like this is the issue we're talking about, and
Yeah,
this came out of his mouth, and he said it, and he got to stand on it.
I don't know
and
how
I
PR.
believe he believes what he said.
Sure, he can. I also don't think it's like a crazy thing to believe. I don't know how PR companies work, but if there is this idea that like PR companies, like Oscars are bought and sold, I'm pretty sure Weinstein basically like bought an Oscar for Shakespeare in Love at one point.
Yeah, I heard
If
about
that's
that.
a real place and that's existing all the time, and like whatever PR company made this as big as it is, good for them. Like this is a throwaway line.
That's funny. I didn't think it was PR, but that was another angle I'm hearing from people. This is Michael B. Jordan's way of sabotaging Timothée because I think they're going up for either
Yeah,
best
both
actor or
going
something
up
like
for
that.
best actor,
Yeah.
and it's like Michael has talent and deserves it. Also is in the news for like an awful thing. So like, yeah, there's a lot happening. He got, I don't know if you remember the BAFTA awards.
Oh, but I mean, he didn't do an awful
No,
thing.
no, no,
Oh,
no.
okay,
I'm sorry.
okay.
He was attached to an awful story
Gotcha,
and was the
gotcha. I was
victim.
about to be like, oh shit, did I miss a scandal? or something
Was
like that?
the quote unquote victim of a thing that happened.
That was good PR.
I'm not saying it's good. That's crazy. That's even a crazier conspiracy. You planted a guy in the crowd. You were like, look, buddy, you want to make $500?
Fine. Hey, Hollywood, I wouldn't put anything past them.
Yeah.
Let's see what the callers are
Yeah,
feeling.
sorry.
Let's
I-
bring them
I
on.
talked
Who do
a
we
lot
got
there.
first?
Here.
Yo, look who it is.
What's up? I'm your replacement.
Guys, I have thoughts, but can I just say, from inside the house, you better keep Timothée Chalamet's name out your mouth. Because what if he wants to come on our pod and wants to date me after Kylie? Have you thought about what's coming
Yeah,
out
we
of your
haven't thought
mouth?
about that.
We didn't
PR
think about
training
that.
for you two.
We gotta put you getting Kylie's sloppy seconds above the pot.
It would be an honor, honestly.
Yeah, I get that.
I don't know
We'd
if
all
Timmy
be
would
so
come
lucky.
on because right now Timmy should probably stop doing pods. I think he should
Fair.
just be quiet.
Well, ours is such a safe space. I would just like to advocate, Timothy, if you ever want to come on and get flagrant, we'll have you.
We'd love
Okay.
to have you.
Did Timothy fuck up or is this bullshit outrage?
Okay, it's tough because like he's right, and I think it just kind of reflects how
Wow.
down bad all art is. Like he's
Yeah.
nominated for Best Actor, and he's on the cover of Vogue begging people to see his movies. Like
Yeah.
to be a creative these days means you have to cultivate your own audience. To be a stand-up, you have to market to who you think will buy your tickets. Like, and then you write your jokes for those people. Like, it's just a reflection of how down bad the culture is. But also what you guys were saying about sinners and stuff. Film Twitter is saying Michael B. Jordan's gonna win because of the BAFTAs thing.
I don't care. Win's a win, baby. Wait, is art down bad or do we just have way more options than we did before to distract us and grab
Both.
our attention?
Both.
Exactly that. Art is down bad because I watch clips of Always Sunny in my free time. I
Yeah.
literally this week I
But
come
then
home from work and I watch Tim Dillon on my phone, on my TikTok. I don't even watch the podcast. I just watch clips. of
So
Dillon.
you're watching art. You're just watching another form of art, and we have so many more options of art.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
podcasting art?
Hell fucking yeah, this shit is hard, motherfucker.
We're Pablo Picasso right now.
Yeah. This shit ain't easy.
We're in our blue period.
It's not as hard as making a movie, but
We should do Podcasters Day Out and take you guys to a ballet class. How about that? Or like an opera lesson.
I mean, I would love to do anything like that, but yeah, dude, art is sort of like the reason Leo never had to do this is because Leo's movies were in a time where like movies did great and he's a great actor.
yeah.
But like he didn't have there wasn't a podcast circuit for him to go on.
There was the talk shows. You had
Yeah,
your
but the talk shows
Oprahs,
were
you had
much
your-
more the talk shows were way more like PR focused, was like way more like industry.
Yeah, that's podcast now. Like that's just
No,
a
not
new
the
form
same,
of
not the same.
PR and industry.
There's no like NBC like saying cut that. It's just
Yeah.
Yes,
whatever.
but guys, this is the new industry. We're
It is,
in
of
the new
course, of
industry.
course. We are, yeah. I'm not saying we're not. I'm just
So
saying
he's
like
going on his version of the news, his version of the Oprahs, his version of all the places that people used to market back in the day. It's the same thing.
It's just different. It is just a different landscape. And I think that's possibly what he was attempting to say.
All right. You guys just want to bail out.
I think he's perfect and has done nothing wrong. How about that?
I know. Oh, I can tell. Well, Alex, before you go, we got to see. Would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important and be remembered as a hero?
Can I have some context? Why would my saving the world make me seem like a villain?
Ooh, we
Answer the question.
We could come up with something like that.
I don't know.
I don't
That's
get
the
it.
dilemma.
Well, I guess I'd save humanity because I'm ultimately selfless. Timothée Chalamet, if you're listening, I'm really humble. I'm really willing
her off
to
the screen.
do anything
Yo.
for humanity.
All right, next. Tommy.
All right, guys. Good job, Miles.
Thanks.
Yo, thanks for calling in, Alex. Who do we got next on the line? Do you feel this controversy actually is about art, or is this just about tearing someone down?
It might be more so about both a little bit. I mean, he does need to take into consideration what he's going to say, especially publicly. But I don't know. I think it kind of ruins the image of who we thought they were. Because I really enjoyed watching him play King Arthur V. I don't know if you guys watched him in that movie. It was a really good one. I definitely recommend it. He plays a really good character. Yeah. No, the morals around that character are really they're really well shaped. And so when he goes online and says like some pretty funky stuff, I'm pretty sure the public's gonna be like, yeah, this guy's weird. So
Question, did you see Marty Supreme?
No, I haven't seen that yet, and I'll be honest, I don't really. It doesn't really look like something I would really enjoy, so I just kind of like avoided it.
I'm glad you said that, because it's not a movie that I feel like I want to go out and see. Even though he did a ton of fucking marketing, PR everywhere, it was just like, hey, the movie doesn't seem interesting, and I'm not gonna go and give it a chance. I'll wait till it comes out free before I can stream, but I'm not gonna waste my time and go to the theater. So it's like, if PR doesn't necessarily do anything, what's the point of doing it? You can just hurt yourself rather than help.
Well, I mean,
exactly. It's not selling. It's not going to sell.
I think you're on the outside of that. There's a lot of people who are like on the fence about the movie, and they see him do something cool or funny or interesting, or like you get sort of drawn into it.
Did you see it?
No, I have not. I did not see any of the Oscar movies. I'm very bad this year.
Oh, damn.
I'm bad.
Mr. I love movies.
Media's been in a weird place, hasn't it?
I watched a 2008 Woody Allen film last night instead of any of the good Oscar movies.
On, you Woody Allen, man.
Yo, look, bad guy, great movies. You got to separate the art and the artist. I'm just saying.
All right.
What were you saying, Al?
I stand on that. Do you think actors do they have to study art forms like ballet or opera?
Timmy did.
As part of their craft, like to be respected.
I'm a firm believer in that you could become a polymath, and that in whatever field you're trying to get into, as long as you are really into it, if you really love the field, you're going to explore it, and you're going to learn from that exploration.
So you got to fuck a bunch of people? What is that?
No,
No.
Not a polycool, polymath.
That's Leo's way. That's Leo's way.
That is Leo's way. Yo.
Damn.
LT, I'm curious, before you go, would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important and be remembered as a hero?
No, I'm gonna save these people. I never really cared for the eyes.
Hell yeah, LT.
All right, we got to go. All right, LT, yo, thank you for calling in, man. Appreciate you, brother. Where you calling in from?
Panama City Beach.
I knew it was Florida. I just fucking knew it, dude. PCB.
It's so nice in the background, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can see the sky.
The dirty.
Yep. I'm a little jealous. Yo, do you feel famous actors should be more careful about what they say publicly?
Kind of, but not really.
Really? Okay. Elaborate on that.
Yeah, you know the impact you have in the world, whatever your job is, whether you're a teacher or you're a famous person. Mm-hmm. So you should kind of act accordingly, but it's not your job. I mean, ballet is dying. It's just it's an observation.
Yeah. I don't think that's like such a hot take.
Damn. Y'all are shitting on the
When's the last time you went to the ballet?
Yeah.
Alex Media.
Wait, does the Nutcracker count?
Sure.
I don't want to hear about your personal life.
A decade ago, you went and saw the Nutcracker once. That's awesome, dude. Tell me one character's name from the Nutcracker.
The Nutcracker.
One more.
Yeah,
I get it. Maybe it's not for me, but it is for some.
Pistachio.
We should not shit
We're not
on
saying it's not
ballet,
for some.
but
just
it's not dying. I don't think it's dying.
When's the
I
last
think
time
it's
you went to
alive
an
and
art
well.
gallery that wasn't a museum and saw a young artist and saw their paintings or whatever?
Miles, we ain't gonna do this.
I'm just saying.
So, White Boy of the Month, is that a real thing? Because I didn't know about this. This is the first I've heard about it.
I didn't notice it until Andrew said something the other day, but it is recently. I noticed it has been. Like, white people are getting it though. You like the NBA is going crazy right now.
That is true, dude.
Yeah, y'all not getting credit for those whites. These
We're
are
coming back in a big way. White people are coming back.
Nah, these are Europeans. You guys can't claim them now. Y'all don't want them here now. You call them.
Then you don't get Giannis. He's European.
I don't take y'all. That's fine.
All right, fine.
You're acting like a Nigerian would act towards you. You're acting like a Nigerian would act towards you. You're not an African.
All right, I'll take it. But then why do you guys lift up your white boys and then tear them down? What's the tearing down part?
I'm not. We're both saying he's fine.
Yeah,
I mean,
I like
the internet's
Chalamet.
tearing them down, and I think it's white people. I don't think black people care.
You do.
There's different tiers of white people. There's
all right.
There's a lot of. There's so many white people.
What tier is Miles?
Top. Top of the top.
Yeah, my top tier white boy.
I'm
man.
in the running
Yeah.
for White Boy of the Month.
He keeps it cool, keeps it low. He's like accidentally racist, but not outwardly racist. Like that's not good.
I love it. The people know.
Yeah, you want to be a hero or a villain?
Yeah,
Ask
exactly.
the question. Ask the question.
All right. Would you rather save humanity and be remembered as a villain, or do something important and be remembered as a hero?
Hold on. No, just do nothing and be remembered as a hero.
Hell yeah, Florida.
All
Hell yeah,
right,
Florida.
all right. He's a good white. He's a good
PCB.
white.
No, I said it was do nothing and be remembered as a hero. You said do something important. I'd rather help people.
Oh, he's correcting that. You read it wrong.
Oh, hey, I
You
can't
just
read.
changed it.
Yeah,
I can't read. You know how the
not
Florida
top tier.
education
He's
system.
not top tier. That's like
Not
second
top,
tier.
yeah, you just went down to 2. Yeah, like,
All right, but yeah, what was your answer?
oh yeah, man, I'll save humanity. It does.
Okay.
I mean, either way, because, or actually, it might be good to be remembered as a villain because, like, time will not make you a villain.
That's
Enough
true.
time, if humanity's still
You
alive.
die a villain.
Yeah.
You get to be one.
Okay, all right, I'll take that. This dilemma question was too easy this week. I'm gonna make it more difficult next week. Yo,
right.
thank you so much, Michael, for calling in, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Peace out.
All right, let's move right along. Because the next topic could actually change how voting works in the United States. It's called the SAVE Act. And right now, it's become the major political fight in Washington. Tommy, can we roll C1, please?
President Donald Trump growing more impatient by the day, issuing a new ultimatum to lawmakers on Capitol Hill. Pass the Save America Act immediately, or all other business gets brought to a standstill. In a post online, he's urging lawmakers to, quote, go for the gold in passing the law requiring people to show ID and proof of citizenship to vote, which would also ban mail-in ballots, except for members of the military, illness, disability, and travel.
So let's break this down exactly what this bill is, because there's a lot of confusion about it. The SAVE Act would require proof of U.S. citizens when someone registers to vote in federal elections. Important clarification. This requirement applies when you register to vote, not necessarily every time you show up at the voting booth. But in order to register, you would need to provide documentation providing you are a U.S. citizen. The types of documentation supports include a U.S. passport, birth certificate, naturalization papers, or other official documents that confirm citizenship. Supporters say this is common sense. Their argument is simple. You already need identifications to do a lot of basic things in America. You need ID to board a plane, open a bank account, buy alcohol. So the argument is, why wouldn't we require proof of citizenship to vote in federal elections? From that perspective, the SAVE Act is about election integrity. But critics say the issue isn't that simple because not every American has easy access to those documents. Many Americans don't have passports. Some people don't have easy access to their birth certificates. Married women who have changed their names sometimes have documentation issues. Lower income voters may face barriers obtaining or replacing records. Critics say those obstacles could discourage legitimate voters from registering. And that's why they argue that the SAVE Act isn't really about election security. They say it's about reducing voter participation. And then there's another question people keep asking. Is voter fraud even a real problem in the first place? Multiple investigations and studies over the years have found very few confirmed cases of non-citizens voting in federal elections. Supporters responded by this. Even if it's rare, the system should still safeguard. Critics respond by saying you shouldn't create barriers to vote to solve a problem that barely exists. Then there's the political strategy angle. Some analysts say laws like this can reshape the electorate because stricter voting requirements may affect different groups of people differently. And that's why people on both sides accuse the other side of using election laws for political advantage. So the debate becomes layered. Is the SAVE Act protecting elections or making it harder for people to vote? Is it fixing a real problem or saving a political narrative? Before we get into callers, Miles, let me ask you something. If voting is one of the most important things you can do in a democracy, should providing citizenship be required?
I mean, like, no is my unnuanced answer.
Oh,
if I had to answer, like, I don't. The providing proof of citizenship is not something that you have to do to vote. Voting is a right, whereas like having to provide a photo ID to like buy alcohol, it's not like a right that you can buy alcohol. Like alcohol is like a opt-in choice thing.
But if voting is a right, it's a right for citizens. It's not a right for non-citizens.
Yeah, my argument against that is like the idea that it's already a pretty safeguarded experience that has been working for hundreds of years at this point, or like even if you don't want to do like the hundreds of years argument, like at least 40 or 50 years where like federal elections have been done well for a long time. And my argument is like, why create barriers? But I also recognize like the nuanced opinion is like, I recognize that there are polls out there right now that show like, I think something like 70 to 80% of Americans think that this is like a decent idea to get to prove citizenship either at registration or even at voting. And you sort of have to trust the electorate that if 70 to 80% of people want something, like I think it's 70 or 80% of people want marijuana to be federally legalized. I think you sort of have to start listening to like the electorate.
Okay. So even though you're against it, you're saying we should listen to the people.
We should put it up to like ballots and start to have conversations about it. Like, I don't think it's a bad conversation to be having.
Okay. All right. That's interesting because like supporters argue that like this law just protects integrity of elections. And I agree with that actually.
Yeah.
Because even if it's not a problem, we should just prevent a potential problem because we can have, let's say, if bad actors want to sway an election, like you can encourage non-citizens to vote.
Yeah. I mean, I understand like the point. If it is something that is less like my problem is that it's like a fundamental right as an American to vote. And by creating barriers to it, you are creating barriers to things that you shouldn't have to create barriers to. Like there shouldn't be a barrier to like freedom of speech. You shouldn't have to like register to like, there's an argument of like at colleges, you can only protest within like free speech areas. And I think that is such like a un-American experience. Like protest should not be like something that you have to apply for. There's reasons that you can kick that up at like public parks because you don't have like the right permit to like protest. And I'm like, we're getting a little lost in the weeds, everybody, that we have to like apply to do a thing when it's like a fundamental right.
I get it. But yes, everybody has the right to free speech, but you don't have the right to just like stop things from happening, i.e. say class. You shouldn't be able to protest in the middle of a class because now these people who are paying for their education like are being affected by your free speech.
Yeah, but you'd get kicked out of the school. Like there are other like barriers.
You're getting kicked out of the school for just utilizing your First Amendment.
But that's now we're going to get into this problem where it's like the school has the right to kick you out for breaking their local like rules. But like the government can't kick you out of that school. The school can kick you out. That's a private to private decision.
But so why do you feel that it's a bad rule that they have to get a permit and only have protests in a particular area?
Because it's not a private institution. Most colleges are public institutions, and you're paying like our taxes, regardless if you want them to, go to public institutions.
Gotcha.
Where you're publicly educating students at a public space. Like,
and now what about the barriers that you have to face for pretty much everything in life? Like when you go to get driver's license, you have to show
driving isn't a right. Like it's not enumerated in the.
What about just getting an ID? You have to show citizenship.
Yeah. Like getting an ID is like a thing that you should have to do, or like is something that you want to do, but like you don't have to have an ID. These are all like
we got to look into that because I do think you need identification of some sort if you get like pulled over by a cop.
Pulled over, you're driving.
Yes, it's right. Oh shit, okay.
You don't have to have ID. That's like that's one of those things where it's like you can't. The Fourth Amendment, you can't. There's no stopping. You know what I mean? Like these are all things where I'm like, if you really get down to like the basis of them.
Okay. And so how do you feel about like Trump saying he's not going to vote on anything until the SAFE Act is passed?
I mean, I think it's a bad political decision.
Even though he's unfavorable right now and it's looking like he might do bad in the midterms or the
Republican I think it's a bad if he wants Republicans to win, I think it's a bad like political decision, but I don't think he's immune to bad political decisions. I think he sort of makes them and somehow comes out on top,
what
like
about
falls
it
forward.
Potentially being a good strategic move because low voter turnout usually results in Republican wins. So if you find ways to maybe get less people at the voting polls, it's like
I think that's a good tactic if you're a Republican. Like if you can get the SAVE Act passed, it won't, I don't think, apply to the midterms. I think it's one of those things where it's like we're too close to the midterms for it to like go into law in time. So it's a future thing, but it would in the future sort of be like if the Republicans win for the next 20 years, like they're going to look back at that monumental decision and be like, hey, he didn't get it for that one term. He might have lost his presidency or he loses a lot of political value, but like 20 years from now, it's like when you look back at Reagan doing certain decisions that like helped Republicans like stay in the direction.
And what's your number of voter fraud you would need to see before you would be for this bill?
I don't know the number. I know the number right now is like less than, I think in 2020, 425 total people like were found to have voter frauded out of millions and millions. So I think the number has to be pretty high, but
and what if the people who say one is one too many?
I think that's a bit of like a misnomer. Like one is one too many is like you're going to get it down to zero. Then our voter turnout's going to also be incredibly low.
Yeah, we
if two people vote
nation,
and then
we don't have high voter turnout to begin with. So
yeah, I'd rather. Here's a take that I have, and I know the people want to jump in, and I'm talking a lot. I apologize.
This is fine.
I think that if there was like an actual left and right coming together for certain things, like in this situation, the right would get that you can vote. Like if you want to vote, you have to have an ID. The left would be like, okay, getting an ID, which I think in most states it is free, but it would be easier to do and will make voting a national holiday. That's how I think you make both sides happy.
Oh,
I try to think of that whenever there's something like hot button issue in Congress or like being talked about. How should it work? And I think the should would be
each side gets something.
Each side gets something. So they're like, hey, look, we will require ID in 10 years, let's say, or 4 years or whatever that is. Like the next big one will require ID, but it's a national holiday. Everyone gets off. Like it is as big as the 4th of July. We do fireworks. Like make it a holiday.
Yeah.
And make it easier to get IDs.
You should run for office, Miles.
That's not ever going to happen. But
what you mean? You're a top tier white.
Yeah.
We need more people like you. Let's see. Who do we have on the line? All right. How do you feel about this? Are you for or against the SAVE Act?
So at first, it's one of those bills that, like, when you hear on the surface level, it's like, well, yeah, that's common sense. And if you vote against it, you look crazy. It's like, well, what do you mean? You legals to vote. But in reality, it's a suppression of the vote. Because I was one of those people when I first heard it, I was like, well, yeah, that makes sense. And then I was like, well, you already have to be a citizen to vote. You already have to have all these steps in place. So then you look at it, it's like, you'd be surprised how many people don't have a passport. And to have a passport, it's like almost $1,000. So it's like, are you making the passport free as well? Because now you have people who can't afford to get their passport. Like I know plenty of people who still don't have their passport. I'm sure like you don't really think about it, but you go out to the bar and ask 10 people, 6 of them won't have their passport. Maybe not in New York, because people travel a lot, but anywhere else in the country. So I think this is a voter suppression issue. They can't, we don't have a voter fraud problem. We have an affordability problem. But we can't fix affordability, so we're fixing the voting problem because we don't want those people who are affected by the affordability problem to vote and have an opinion. So it is an indirect way. Like it happened in Texas. Redistricting happened, and they made a law that said early voting you can vote anywhere in your district, but on the election day you can only work in your vote in your precinct, right?
Yeah. And it's good. I just looked it up. Only 45 to 50% of U.S. citizens have a passport. That is.
Yep, and those are the ones that travel.
Your parents have passports?
Yes.
Yeah. It's funny. My mom had to get a passport for the first time when I got locked up in a Swedish prison. That was the first time out of the country to visit me in jail.
My parents don't have passports.
Shout out to you, Mom. I love you. Is the SAVE Act solving a real problem?
No, because
it is. It's solving the potential problem.
Yeah, that's not a real problem.
No, it's not a real problem because, Alex, we have an election
I'm trying
system.
to argue for the right. I can't do this. It's hard.
I mean, you're trying your hardest, but
I know I'm trying.
Alex, you got common sense. Look, we have an infrastructure that works better than most countries.
Yeah.
We have hundreds of nonprofit systems supporting that. This isn't just like, oh, county has a budget and we just do elections. No, this is a whole industry that supports and makes sure we have free and fair elections. So this problem doesn't exist because if you're undocumented, you don't even go to a parents teachers conference because you're scared that you might get your name on a list and they might come knock on your door. So you're not gonna sacrifice your time in America by going and voting if you don't have documentation. Like I've been around plenty of I'm an immigrant myself, but I've been plenty of people who are undocumented. They're staying low key. They're not gonna go vote. They're not gonna participate in any political event because they're scared to risk their status. So especially nowadays. So this isn't a real issue that's happening, but it's masked. That's why we have this big issue that's happening. But reality is it's just a voter suppression because it only targets a certain class of people.
So Senator Miles, he gave a potential solution. What would you say, like, if one side had to get something and the other side had to get something to make this more agreeable, what would you suggest?
I would say make the citizenship free, make it easy to get. Once I'm qualified, if I'm born in the United States, that's fine. Have the test, have all those things. That's fine, right? You have to prove, but I shouldn't pay $1,000 to have my passport because if I'm living check to check, I'm not gonna go get my that's like my last priority. I'm not leaving the country. I'm not going to travel. Like I'm barely paying rent. So why would I, like, that's my last concern. So make that more accessible. Make polling more accessible. Like that's still a big issue.
Yeah.
So make polling. Yeah, go ahead, Miles. So my fault.
No, I do think you're correct. Like the access to voting is a bigger issue than like potential fraud or fraud at this level. Like
that's interesting. I guess I just haven't realized that because it's like voting in New York has been super easy for me. It's usually at a school like right up the block, and so
dense city in a blue state is like a tough place to just pick your data from.
Gotcha.
Well, in Texas, plenty of people got turned away on election day because they made a law that on election day you can only vote in your precinct. Even though you're in the district, people came to a library. I was on one of those libraries. People got turned away. I saw at least 20 people with the hour I was there, pissed off, turning around, and said, "Oh, they didn't let me vote." This already happened, and they're finding different ways, creative ways to suppress the vote, and that's just one of them.
Damn. Oh, that sucks. All right, Adele, before you go, would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important and be remembered as a hero?
I'm not gonna lie. Being remembered as a hero would be dope because of all the PR. You get to be white boy of the century. That would be cool. But I think me myself, I would still chose to be be a hero and not be unnoticed. I mean, be not noticed, basically. The other option.
I mean, no, you be remembered as a villain. Like, imagine being remembered as like Hitler, but you actually you saved humanity.
Okay, well now you're saying let's use a different example.
Let's use somebody, Genghis Khan.
God knows my heart, man.
Just say a generally bad person.
God knows your heart. All right. I try.
You got the next caller in. What the fuck?
Yo, Neil, thank you for calling, man. I
appreciate you,
brother.
Pedro, welcome.
What we got next? Bring him right in. So, are you for or against the SAVE Act? Let's start there.
No. So obviously, so you guys were talking earlier about like kind of making it like it's in a distant future. Like it's the SAVE Act is happening now. Like it's literally about to be signed by DeSantis, and hopefully, like not hopefully, but in I think 2 weeks. I think he has like 2 weeks to sign or something like that. So it's happening.
Does it apply if it gets signed now? Does it apply to the November
No,
midterms?
20. It starts 2027, so it'll be for 2028. Yeah. So the biggest thing is numbers I've been reading is basically like this would if SAVE Act passes across the United States, it's gonna affect like 7% of Americans, which is it sounds little, but it's a big fucking number, right? As far as who it covers. The way they preface it is like, oh, it's just an ID. That's not what this is. It's not just an ID. It's what you guys were explaining earlier, all the other things, the passport, stuff like that. It's gonna affect women most likely that remarried. I mean, you touched on this already. You talked about it, but like, it's not just an ID, and that's the dog whistling that they talk about. Like, oh, it's just ID. Everybody has an ID. You don't want to get an ID, then you shouldn't vote. Like that type of deal. My thing is that like the right approving of it or championing it when it's like the tread on me type of people. You know what I'm saying? Like the right to vote is a human right, period. I don't think you need to add extra obstacles at all to be able to do that. Especially that I think they did like the last 20 years, only 2 people were convicted, especially in Florida, of like voter fraud. So it's like it's not really a problem. They're just making a problem because they want to make it more difficult for people to vote.
Where in Florida are you from?
Well, I'm originally from New York City, but right now I live like Tampa area.
Oh hell yeah, we did the reverse. I'm from Sarasota.
Nice. What do you say to people saying like voting should require the same level of identification as other activities like alcohol?
Yeah, but it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not just ID. When you preface it that, it sounds crazy. Oh my God, you're arguing that. It's not just ID, man. That's the problem. It's not.
You don't have to drink alcohol.
They're adding more obstacles. Huh?
You don't have to drink alcohol. Like the access to alcohol.
And it's not a human. It's not a human right.
It's not like
Okay. Should you need citizenship to own a gun?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, you should.
That's a right.
Pedro brought up an interesting point, which is like the don't tread on me people, or even like, people in conservative. I don't want to just like push them super far right, but anyone like right leaning conservatives, it does come down to also like a states issue problem where it's like voting is a state held, even federal voting is like held within the states. And it's like by requiring a federal level of what type of ID is allowed could allow whoever is in power at the federal level to change what that looks like. You know what I mean? Like,
you mean like from election to election?
Yeah, you could weaponize, like it allows the federal to weaponize against the states. And I think that's like something people do look over sometimes.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they're making it seem like, so I don't know, you guys know about the Real ID, right? You guys familiar with that, Real ID? So they're saying it's just that, oh, you have a real ID, you're fine. It's not. It's not that simple. Like they're adding in extra obstacles that are not needed for them to, it starts with obviously Trump and every bootlicking Republican governor is going to go, just like DeSantis is doing now. He's going to try to get the SAVE Act passed, and he might not, who knows. He's going to sign it, obviously. But it's like, it's just going to be little by little, every state's going to start doing it until it's national, which again, that could be some years. But again, it's going to affect a big chunk of us as far as Americans go.
But back to this one, because I don't think I got an answer. Do you think we should have to require citizenship in order to buy a gun?
Yes, I said that. I answered. Yeah.
So then,
yes, you do.
If having a gun is a right, shouldn't that apply to voting as well?
But it's not about citizenship. Yeah, but you should. Yeah, but it's not just about citizenship. This is not what they prove. You already need an ID to register to vote. Like you need that stuff to be able to register to vote in Florida. I'm talking about Florida specifically. So it's like there's nothing really out of pocket as far as compared to getting a gun or compared to drinking. They're just adding extra obstacles that are not needed. Like if you said, hey, you need to be a U.S. citizen to own a gun, that's fine, right? Or whatever. I agree with that. I think you should, right? But it's like you need a passport. You need it's affecting women if they're remarried. They have to go get a
That is the way to show your citizenship. You just have to prove your citizenship. So it's like the same thing you say you have to prove your citizenship in order to buy a gun. Why shouldn't you have to prove your citizenship to vote?
Because you don't have to own a gun. You don't have to vote neither.
But it's
owning a gun.
It's your right.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah. I understand that, but again, it's the obstacles they're adding on. It's not just it's basically to stop people. Again, it's to stop people that kind of like on the fence. Oh, I don't want to go waste my time to go vote, but they go and they do it because they know it makes a difference. And like, oh, well, I have to go show this. I'm not gonna go. Like, I'm not saying this is not gonna stop people. This is gonna stop more people that are citizens than not citizens. I'll tell you right now.
Gotcha. All right, that's interesting.
People don't want to go vote. People really don't want.
Also, I don't know if you have to have citizenship or proof of citizenship to buy guns in all sales. I think in like straw sales from 1 to 1. Like if I bought a gun off of you in a state where that's legal.
If you do, if we think.
I'm actually. Do you think because it should be consistent?
No, I mean if you go by like the letter of the law, like Second Amendment, it's like no, it's for a well-funded. It's like for a militia. It's for the right to defend yourself against tyranny, and it's like no, you shouldn't have to prove citizenship. But also, I imagine when writing these documents, there's probably a bit of a headspace that the people within the country would be there like legally, or like there would be less.
So you think illegals should be able to come into America and buy a gun?
I mean, I wouldn't use the term illegals, but I do think that
migrants.
I do think that not. I think that there is a gray area that exists within the structures, and that's where we have to start to like define these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's really tough.
All right. Sure, yeah.
Jump
Grab
on
the
in.
mic.
Clara on the mic.
Hello. There is a difference between illegal immigrants, legally residents, and citizens.
Yeah.
So you have legal residents who the laws of the Constitution, like whoever lives in this country also apply, like your rights and stuff also apply to legal residents, but they're not citizens. Legal residents cannot vote. Legal residents still have like the rights. So if you go by the Constitution, legal residents should be able to have a gun because they live here and they have the right of the Constitution. However, they're not citizens, so you cannot force them to prove.
Oh,
and I think that's where where we get the difference between the right to due process and the right of Second Amendment gun ownership, which is due process doesn't say citizens are given due process. I think it says people within the United States. So it's like it doesn't define who that is the definition of. It just defines it defines legally where you're like standing.
Yeah.
Whereas I think other things define citizenship in a more common way.
Good points, everybody. Pedro, before you go, would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important but be remembered as a hero?
We're on Patreon, right? So there's one thing that I think somebody would do, not me, but somebody would do that will be. Some people will say it's a villain, and then some people will call him a hero.
That's not
and
an
I
answer.
think that's
you
a good happy medium.
You gotta pick. You gotta pick.
The villain, I don't care. Yeah, I'll be the villain. Yeah, I'll do the villain thing. Yeah.
All right. Oh, you teetering on the edge of that. Yo, thank you so much for calling in, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Shout out Florida.
All right, we are running out of time, but let's see if we can run through this last topic real quick. All right. So let's talk about something that might affect almost everyone watching the show right now. Artificial intelligence is replacing jobs because this week, the AI company Anthropic released a list of the type of jobs most likely to be replaced by AI. And some of these results surprise people because for years we thought automation would mostly replace manual labor jobs, factory workers, warehouse workers, truck drivers, etc. But the list coming from Anthropic looks very different. The jobs at the highest risk include things like programmers, data analysis, marketing roles, administrative work, customer service, financial analysts, legal research. In other words, a lot of white-collar jobs, the kind of jobs people went to college to get. All right. So the debate around AI and jobs usually falls into two camps. One side says this is just the next tech shift. Every major innovation has replaced some jobs and creates new ones. The Industrial Revolution did it, computers did it, the internet did it. So this argument says AI will eliminate some jobs, but it will also create new industries we can't even imagine yet. But the other side says this time is different because AI doesn't just automate physical work, it automates thinking work, writing, coding, research, etc., which means entire categories of jobs could shrink very quickly. And that raises serious questions. If AI can do the work of millions of people, what happens to the people? And this is where I want to hear from the audience. This is reality, basically. Like I worry about this with my business, with my current work, and I'm wondering, do you guys wonder about it at home too? So we're just going to get straight to the phone lines and try to save some time. But while we're bringing people up, Miles, are you worried about AI replacing you?
No, I am worried about how much Vaseline I just put on my lips. I put way too much on in that break.
No, that's good. It's better to be shiny than to be chapped lips.
I'm shining, bro. Dude, AI is such a hard thing for me. I would much rather hear from like the callers because my opinions on AI are like, I don't know. I have truly like no.
Are you worried at all?
Yes and no. It's such a like, yeah, I don't have like a big opinion about AI because sometimes I use it and I'm like, damn, this is cool and it's really interesting and it seems like it's like a revolutionary tech. And then other times I'm like, I don't get it. I'm behind on it. I don't have like a Claude bot. I don't have like, I think I'm behind already.
Got it.
So I'm in the headspace where I'm like, maybe I'm missing out on something. Maybe it's doing stuff that I'm not aware of, but I don't know.
It's interesting. Anybody who works at WTF, close your ears for a second. I worry about it because I see its capabilities. I use it quite a bit.
Cool.
And I've already noticed the ways that I can utilize AI within my business and reduce staff.
Yeah.
But I haven't done it and I don't plan on doing it. But let's say hypothetically, my business takes a turn and like money starts to get tight. That is going to be the first, in order to save the business, I'm going to look to ways to cut costs. So it's like, it's something that troubles me as a business owner, as having employees. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to like jeopardize people's livelihood. But at the same time, you have to do what's best for the business because if the whole business goes over, everybody's livelihood is fucked.
I mean, of course, the way I look at that is like, you
uncover your ears now.
Yeah, uncover your ears, everybody. No, the way I look at that is like, you're going to get rid of people. Like this will take over certain people's jobs. Once again, I do think it will create other jobs. Like I've used AI before to like save a little piece of audio that I misrecorded incorrectly. And you can drop it into like that Adobe one. And it does a really good job, but it's like, yeah, I should have just hired someone that knew how to do the recording on the front end and save myself a lot of time and stress. And like the amount of money that you would pay to hire someone who's good at it is probably the same amount of like time and effort and stress that you might lose on mishandling that job. I don't know, dude. I run into it where I'm like,
let's see what the people are saying at home.
I don't have big enough opinions.
It's a scary. I think this is going to be a topic we always have, a reoccurring thing. My guy, Christopher Robinson.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on?
What's good? Yo, are you worried about AI taking your job?
No.
Why not?
I am not. I am fortunate enough to be one of those people who are in the arts, who love making movies and things like that. So AI taking my job is not my biggest concern, but it is still something we all should worry about because I'm definitely one of those people that still live in the boat of Skynet's going to kill everybody eventually. Just saying, guys. So
okay.
Definitely have that
you're in the arts. You said you're in the arts and you're about making movies. Already, movies are like the staff, the size it takes. The level of employees it takes to make a movie has been shrunk dramatically already. Like, I forgot who it is, but there's some director right now who they are going to recreate the background to every scene using AI. So that's already cutting down all the staff of all the people that props, people that set design, all those, like that's cutting jobs. And then you have the writers. Now writers' rooms have shrunken because all you need is maybe one or two writers, and then you just keep pumping prompts into AI, and they put the script together back in the day when there used to be a writer's room of like 10 to 12. So
right.
How are you not worried?
I'm not worried because one thing that humans can do really well is adapt. Is like adapt very well to troubling situations. Sometimes it takes us a minute and we usually wait till the last fucking minute when it's literally staring us in the face and becomes a problem. But humans can adapt to whatever situation that is going on. And AI is definitely going to be a problem when it comes to job creation and people losing jobs. But I think this is also an opportunity for people to, you know, dive into whatever like creative outlook that they've always been like afraid to do because like they need to pay bills and stuff like that. This, I think, you know, AI has the opportunity to give people, you know, the opportunity to do new things, explore new things and stuff like that, you know, where people are afraid to pay rent and do all this stuff like 9 to 5 stuff. You know, there might be some creative outlooks that AI can help people get into. You know, some people can't really afford like the master classes or anything to like learn how to AI code or like how to direct films or how to write and stuff like that. So they can use like a chat GPT or like certain other AIs to learn how to do these classes and stuff like that. You know, they can take these classes for free and stuff, you know?
What about the people who went to school? Like right now, it's looking like it's going to replace either lawyers or paralegals. I'm even seeing in the healthcare space, they're putting a person's lifetime of medical history and basically just using it as a doctor. So it's like, it's coming for doctors. These are people who went to school, probably have fucking school debt.
Yeah,
and
when your
now
legs
when you get replaced,
bleeding,
what
you're not going to
happens?
go to ChatGPT.
What?
When your legs bleeding, you're not going to ChatGPT.
Okay, maybe
that's
what about the
the
robot
thing.
that stitches it up?
That's fine. Like that, if the robot's better,
The robot
that's just-
can, the robot can stitch me up as long as there's an actual human doctor to be like, hey, you got this wrong with you. The robot's gonna stitch you up, but make sure you take these types of medicines and stuff like that. As long as like there's like a collaboration between having an actual human and an AI there, I think that's the way we need to go. Right? We have to be very careful though, because again, yeah, go for it.
And I'm not rooting for AI to take people's jobs, but as a electric car owner, I noticed when I put on my self-driving, the full self-driving, it drives better than me.
That's still so wild to me.
It drives
Self-driving is
better
crazy.
than me. It makes less mistakes. Like, so technically, AI is a better driver than me. Technically, AI is probably a better doctor than a human. It's going to make less mistakes. It's going to take every single thing into consideration. It's going to take all past cases. It can take the whole world of everybody who's ever had this fucking medical thing and your percentages or likelihood of surviving or what meds you should have. Like, it's better. It is better.
It's true. But
am I off or not?
I think, and this might be like very naive of me to think, but like, I think of the example of like the Halo video games, if you've ever played them and stuff like that. AI is super integral into the world of Halo and everything like that. They have like AI like avatars that help people like fight the wars and stuff like that. But they also have what's called dumb AI, which helps regular folks with the day-to-day stuff living in this like futuristic world and stuff like that, you know? So again, like, not to like really like, I hope I'm giving a good answer, but like, I think again, the smartest option we can do is just learn how to live with this new technology, because AI is not going anywhere. Just like I mentioned, like last week or a week before, the internet is not going anywhere. And we had to learn with like how to live with this new thing called the internet and everything. And AI is just the next thing that we're going to have to like learn to live with. You know, unfortunately, people are going to lose their jobs. We are going to have to learn how to adapt and find new ways to live our lives now, because unfortunately, a lot of people, which fucking sucks, are going to lose their jobs. But in the chaos and the madness, there might be ways for new opportunities, new avenues for people to maybe start a coquito business or, you know, do something. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You claim to have really good coquito. Next week, you got to bring that in. You know what?
I got you.
I'm going to actually invite one of our best patrons into studio, and you're gonna watch it in studio next week. All right, if you're in town and if you're available, absolutely.
I'm here. I ain't got shit to do with my life, so I'm here for it.
Gang, gang. All right, before you go though, would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important and be remembered as a hero?
I'd rather save humanity and be a villain, be remembered as a villain, because all I'm saying is you can't have a good hero without a good motherfucking villain. And villains, everybody loves a good motherfucking villain, whether they hate to admit it or not. They can't keep not talking about the Joker and Batman at the same time. All I'm saying.
All right, I like that answer. Yo, Chris, I thank you.
Thanks,
you know,
Chris.
you're that dude, man. Appreciate you, brother.
I got you guys.
I'll see you next
Have a
week
good one.
in studio. Oh, this is Radio Sam.
Morning.
Radio Sam got the
look at
go
this voice.
blue.
Watch his voice. Sam, what's up, man?
Here you go. What's up, guys? How you
God
doing?
damn.
You're right.
Yeah, that's AI. Talking about AI, that's AI.
His voice is crazy. I
Here
need
you
that.
go.
Shit. All right. Are you worried about AI taking your job? AI can't take that voice away. But
That's what I'm saying.
So I'm gonna hot take this. I'm all for it, if I'm being honest, right? Because when you look at society, how long have people that have had their degree, had their stuff together, talk about, I understand life's so hard, but you're doing that blue collar job. But if you just would have went to college, you would have had things better. Now those people that went to college, y'all in danger, just like these blue collar people out here.
Plumbers
So,
are. All my
it's-
friends that were plumbers out of high school have multiple homes, are doing
the
fucking
tides have
good.
turned.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, I like it because it's unfortunate. I don't want anybody to lose their job. Let's start with that. But it's great because it allows the conversation to finally move forward. Now we can actually talk about the problem of what are we going to do about people having jobs or not having jobs. So now that the white collar people, the ones that have the money, are affected, they're going to actually come up with a solution for it. So
it's a great
looking
point.
at society and the history or whatever, you can say, they always say play the cards you're dealt, like it's a poker game, right? So the original flop was the Industrial Revolution. The turn was the internet for marketing. You know what I mean? And then now we're just an AI. So here's the hand, here's the table. How are we going to play this?
It's a great
and
point.
who's going to end up winning all the chips at the end?
It's a redistribution, possibly. Like if you frame it as a redistribution of power, it's an interesting take. It possibly puts more power within like the individual. It possibly puts more power in sort of takes it away from I don't want to say middlemen jobs. That's like a bad term, but there's probably people right now that are like, oh, my job used to be between industry and the individual, and now those two things are closer than ever.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying those jobs aren't valuable. I think all people deserve money and jobs and homes and healthcare and all of that. But it is an interesting time for the individual or for the person whose job is done with their hands and isn't being replaced. Electricians right now are just fucking, dude, we did it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I could see a resurgence in opera and ballet.
Kind of going along with, if I'm understanding Miles the right way, I think something's going to end up happening is instead of some point in the future, I don't know when, but instead of applying for a job, you're just going to have to somehow earn money to get a robot or an AI prompt to go to work for you to earn money to sustain your life. That's going to be the next move, I feel is the average person is going to have to go get a robot to be an employee for them to run their household like a business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
That's kind of how I see it.
That's a sick reality. Yo, Sam, before you go, would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important and be remembered as a hero?
Do nothing important and be, dang, I forgot about the important part, because I was going to say just let me kick back and be a hero, but I'm going to go with Christopher was saying, let me go ahead and be the villain, because people seem to not be able to keep bad people in history out of their mouth. He said, you talk about Joker and Batman, we talk about Hitler still, and what's his name? Jeffrey Dahmer, all those people, we can't keep those people's names out of our mouths for whatever reason in documentaries. So
as long as you're remembered, it's a win.
Not even as long as I'm remembered, but as long as humanity can be better off, I'll be the casualty. That's fine.
Appreciate you, brother. Yo, thank you
Peace,
for calling
guys.
in, man. Are you worried about AI taking your job?
I was. So when I got out the military, I was a cop. Then I came out, and so I went straight into sales and marketing. And I was working with a company that they jumped on AI pretty quickly. And I remember I closed like 6 deals, and I maybe talked on the phone for 30 minutes. And I don't smoke weed a lot, and I was high, and I think too much, and so I was like, damn, I'm about to lose my job. And, and so I ended up going to electrician school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. I was
How
just
long
like, I
ago?
gotta figure
How long
out.
ago?
Oh, I'm finishing up right now. So this is pretty recent.
So this is in preparation for in case like AI eliminates your job.
Yeah, I mean, when you consider things like what I was doing, granted, what I was doing, it was recruiting for travel nurses. But when you consider things like I closed 6 deals and I barely talked on the phone on a job where I'm supposed to be on the phone. Nah, I gotta figure something else out.
Yeah, like definitely. If you can do that, AI can do it, right? Yeah, I get what you're saying. But
Yeah.
that's really smart of you that you got ahead of it, and now you're in an electrician school. When are you done? And then are you going to immediately leave, or are you going to wait to be replaced?
So I'll be done in September, and then I'll have like 6 more months on my GI Bill left. So I'm gonna go straight into cybersecurity. There's a 6-month class in cybersecurity.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
And so I'll do that. Just try to completely maximize everything that I have. But yeah, Miles, you're fucked, bro.
Dude, it's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm gonna. Does the GI Bill cover electrician school?
Yeah, it does.
Is it union electrician school too?
Yeah.
That shit. Do you get paid as an apprentice yet?
I don't get paid as an apprentice. I'm just getting paid to go to school.
Okay.
And then I get my disability.
What does that
doing
mean?
okay.
I don't know what that means.
The apprenticeship thing.
Yeah.
So like within these unions, basically my boy did plumbing school and one did electrician school, and like the money you make as an apprentice is like pretty wild. Like not saying it like they don't deserve it. I'm saying it like if I would have known. Like
oh really?
Yeah, so let me backtrack. I'll get paid as an apprentice, but I won't get paid for the military as an apprentice. I misunderstood the question.
Yeah, sorry. Like when you do your apprenticeship, basically you go through school, this electrician school, and then you go through like a certain amount of years of apprenticeship. It's like 3 sometimes shorter, whatever it might be. And during that apprenticeship, you get paid on like a scaled system, similar to the military, honestly, where like you make more and more as you get closer, and then you're making good union money by the time you're out. So like you're earning while you learn, which is a thing that not a lot of people get.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah, it's lit.
Nice.
Which is crazy because I only went here because I was just trying to figure out how I could steal my neighbor's electricity.
I like that.
I like that. We always looking for a good hustle. Yo, Tiberius, before you go, would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important and be remembered as a hero?
Man, it's just like Sam just said, man. It's the villain side is crazy. I enjoy doing nothing. I'm doing great there, and I'm still gonna be a hero. I'm still gonna be a hero. You feel me? Hey, you know, Sacramento, stand up. You know, I'm one of the world's greatest political social media influencers.
Love it.
But no, man,
right,
being that villain, being that Thanos, that dude that's like, you know what, man, I promise you guys are gonna respect this.
Okay. That's good. Funny. Yeah. I got to make a harder one next time. Every week, we got all good people calling in. That's a good sign. We only had one person who wanted to be a hero. All right. Tiberius, thank you for calling in, brother. Appreciate you.
My boy, always.
All right. It's the last one. Let's wrap it up. Sorry,
Ricardo,
boss.
What up? No, this is great, dude.
Yeah?
I'm having to go fucking 2 more hours. I don't care.
I'd love you here. This was awesome.
This is a topic that so I work as a Spanish medical interpreter. I'm a certified Spanish medical interpreter, and then I have a bachelor's in criminal justice and a couple of other things. And I've been interpreting for well over 20 years. I've done everything from human trafficking cases to drugs to gangs to mention whatever you want. The problem that we're seeing in AI in my field specifically is that people don't understand basic fucking concepts. Number one, if you work in the medical field, you have to abide by something that's called PHI, personal health information, right? So a lot of times what people don't understand is when these new things come in, right, you have to abide by HIPAA.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues that we're seeing everywhere, where people are like, well, I have a patient sheet, right? To give an example, I have a patient's health sheet and I put it in AI and it translated it for me. That's awesome. You just committed a fucking federal crime.
Ah, because you're training this model.
No,
No,
you're
it's not
giving
that
up
you're
your
training.
patient's information.
Oh, you're
You're
giving up.
putting PHI. Listen to this one.
Yeah.
You're putting PHI, personal health information, into an open source database. It's the same with in the legal field. You have protected personal information, PPI, right? Haha, PP. And the problem here is that when you insert, for example, Google Translate, everybody talks about how amazing Google Translate is. It's a great tool. The problem is that without knowing it, people are violating the law by violating NDAs. Like, for example, when I work trafficking cases, you can't put that information out there. So if I put a victim or a survivor's name and I put that information on Google Translate is an open source continuous learning tool. So I've just violated an NDA. The problem is because attorneys aren't incentivized and or don't care, whichever one you want to pick, people don't care. The other problem we have is we already have a hard time in my field of interpreting, teaching people, getting people ready, and understanding the basics of, what is context. You can't really teach a machine context yet. Why? Because context in the linguistics world means taking the information based upon the situation, the area, the region, and also the environment in which we are talking, which most people know that as culture, right? Same way that in Mexico, you can say, to give an example, and excuse my French, you can say the word bicho, which means cockroach. But if you go to Puerto Rico and you say bicho, you're going to get punched in the mouth.
Yeah, there's no nuance.
That's, yeah, there's nuances and there's colloquialisms and regionalisms. The problem with AI is that everyone has this idea that we can do this, and a shit ton of people are breaking the law. I can't get into details because I'm held by an NDA, but there are hundreds of lawsuits that are going with this that people don't want to talk about, and they settle out of court because if you violate that, it's really difficult for you to get insurance as a hospital or as a provider later. So what's happening is all these people are violating HIPAA, and then they're not even taking it to court. They're settling outside of court because they know that if they go to court, you're fucked.
Oh, wow.
So that's the problem that we're having with AI. However, as I say one negative thing, I'll say a positive thing. AI is a positive thing. It's an amazing tool that allows you, if you know what to look for, you can go directly to it because it's going to pull from the source. But that's the thing. You have to know what you're looking for. You have to understand what you're doing in any field, medical field. Hey, my patient, to give an example, and I'll make it quick because I don't know how much time we have.
You're the last one.
Run with it. Go for it.
So let's say, for example, you think that you have high blood pressure. Well, why does blood pressure happen? Hey, AI, give me the top 10 reasons based upon medical articles from reliable resources. What is a reliable resource? A government entity, a subject matter expert, and or peer-reviewed paper that is done by a government entity. Because legally now you've covered yourself, right? So if you do that, now the AI knows where to pull the information that you need, and it's a great tool for you to be able to utilize. The problem is, again, people think that this is just a one-time a fix for everything. And truth be told, if an AI can do what I can do linguistically, then we have bigger problems to worry about than just losing jobs. Does that make sense, gentlemen?
What would be the bigger problem?
If it can understand context, it means that it has what's the word I'm looking for in English, Dios mío? It has analytical skills. It has
like general intelligence or whatever.
General intelligence, at that point, that's a whole nother level of problem, because that's what culture plus context plus linguistic plus language is what makes linguistics.
All right.
You know.
Well, I see that coming sooner than what people think. So when that does come and I make that the next topic, let's then we'll talk about it then. But yes, Ricardo, before you go, you're the last one. Would you rather save humanity but be remembered as a villain, or do nothing important and be remembered as a hero?
I'd rather save humanity and just be remembered as a villain.
All right, we got all good people today.
Yeah.
Ricardo, thank you so much for calling in, man. I appreciate you, brother.
See you, brother.
Take it easy, brother.
Peace.
Gents, have a good day.
Oh, wow. This has been an amazing one. This was a great show. Miles, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you, brother.
Of course. This is fun. Oh, you don't do a post game?
Oh, yeah, no.
No, we don't. I just didn't know.
Yeah, no, I just wrapped the
Fact
shit.
check.
But
I thought we were doing it.
Nah, thank you all for calling in. Thank everybody who tuned in, and especially everyone who called in. If you want to be a part of the conversation, Patreon is how you do it. That's how you're able to call in. That's where the extended conversations live. That's where you even get bonus episodes like PM nights, vlogs, and behind-the-scenes content. $3 gets you in the room. Everything there helps to keep this show independent. We'll be back next week, Sunday at 11 a.m. Great job, guys. Thank you. Tommy, take me off the screen, man. We out.